Hello everyone, I am Dipanjan. I am currently a final year student of the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Sikkim Manipal Institute of Technology in Sikkim. Right now, through my campus recruitment, I got an internship opportunity for my major project duration at Ericsson India Global Services Private Limited. I am currently pursuing my internship from Ericsson Bangalore. Uh, my journey in college as a student of SMIT, it began on the 31st of July 2016 when I joined the college as a fresher. And it has been a roller coaster ride ever since. I wouldn't specifically say that it has all been about the pros and the virtues, because it's absurd to consider that anything just has the good sides and not the other side of the coin. And same it was for me as well. I hail from Kolkata, which is basically a multicultural metropolitan city with its own hustles and bustles and houses and buildings and malls. And taking a journey from Kolkata to Sikkim, it was not in my plan. After 12th, a series of incidents followed, and as a result of which, suddenly on the end of July 2016, I found myself ended up in a hill station, a place which I had till then visited only as a tourist. And suddenly I was a student, a resident of that state. It was a little difficult to get adjusted to the environment and in the beginning, but I assure you, once you get the taste of the hills, a taste of living in the mountains, it is something which is so beautiful, so lovely, that you can really never get over it. Like right now I am in Bangalore, I am in another metropolitan city, probably one of the most hustling destinations in India, and every fine morning I wake up longing for the hills. It's so beautiful and so addictive at the same time. My first year in college was lovely. I made a lot of friends. I had never expected it to be so good, to be honest, but I found myself making a large number of friends, and it was all enjoying and moving around and taking in the beauty of the state, along with, of course, the academics. My teachers during first year, they were lovely. They were very supportive, and they helped us cope with living in a new environment which was away from our home. And not for once did we miss our family or friends back in our hometowns. It was so good in college. It was indeed, as my college puts it up in their advertisements, it was indeed home beyond home, my first year in college. When I came into my department, from the beginning of second year, when I came into my department, at first I had expected it that it would be something really difficult or really tough to cope with, because like the normal proclamations which go around that EEE is supposedly one of the toughest branches of engineering, which is very true. Like being in final year, I have to admit that it is very true. But it's not like like we expect it to be. I joined my department and things seemed so much more smoother than I had expected it to be. Like the way our curriculum was planned, the way our teachers approached us, the way they like literally held our hands and made us travel the courses. It was lovely, and I came to think about, more importantly, apart from my academics and my following my curriculum and laboratories, I started having a new dimension of life. I started imagining me that I would love to continue further with my studies, and that was SMIT, which my department and my professors in my department, which induced this change in me. At the end of second year, I thought to myself that maybe I would want this to be my life, being in a college, being among professors, such was the influence of my college. And I wanted to continue my studies further and take my GRE and maybe look for a better dimension of college. So moving on with that, I did a bit of research, and I found out that to sharpen one's skills and one's one's luck and in getting a better college for masters abroad, one needed to have research papers. And I remember at the end of second year, I approached one of our professors. At that time in our college, there was this conference going on, the Manipal Student Research Colloquium 2017, and that was the first time at the end of second year, me along with 4 of my friends, Noimisha, Pratyasha, Sudeep, and 2 of our professors, we wrote my first research paper of my life. I hadn't imagined that I would ever be able to do that, and we wrote that paper, and then we presented that paper, and then that paper got published after that. And it was such a relieving feeling to find your name and your paper on Google search, on a Google search, and you find your name right there along with your co-authors and your research paper in it. And that thing just stayed up. When third year came in, I, along with another of my friend, we began writing for our actual and in-depth research work. And it took us around 3.5 months, the both of us. It was 2 of us together. We learned a new software, a geographical information system, a GIS-based software, right from scratch on our own. Like, I had never imagined myself to be capable of such things before that. And after 3 or 4 months of effort, in December of that year, our paper finally came into being. And then we were so good at that software by the time we finished learning it with the guidance of our professor, like his continuous advice and continuous influence on us to go through with it, that by that time we actually wrote another paper along with it. And that got accepted in an IEEE conference for the next year, which was happening in our college itself. It was called the ICACCP. I do not exactly remember the full form, it's a huge one. But it's an IEEE, a very reputed conference. And the next year we gave our first presentation in an IEEE conference, and it is something, being a part of an IEEE conference is something which I would say that every student should know about. It's so much self-evolving, it's so much changing and so much motivating at the same time. The kind of people you come across, the kind of experience you come across, the kind of personality you develop in a little tenure of 2 or 3 days, it's just amazing the way it happens. And so it was the same for us. And that process went on. I formed groups with other friends, and they approached me all within our department, and we went to professors, and they guided us so extremely well. And we were writing papers and papers after papers. It became like a habit. And by the end of third year, the last semester of third year actually, I had almost about 7 to 8 Scopus certified publications on the internet. All of them are not available on the internet as of yet, because it's a long process. It takes around 7 to 8 months for a paper from submitting to getting it online. So all of them are not there right now, but all of them have been accepted. And another great achievement of mine, I would very happily talk about it, is an SCI paper. I mean, an SCI paper in a BTech student's level is a really big deal. And me, along with 2 of my friends and our professor and guide, we managed that. We wrote a paper on the material selection for the construction of bodies of a solar electric vehicle in the beginning of the last year, 2019. And it made through a journal of Taylor and Francis. It is an SCI index journal, Energy Sources Part A, and it was a very lovely moment for all of us to see our work being paid off in that fashion. Currently, I have written around 19 papers so far. Out of those 19 papers, 16 are Scopus indexed, are either in communication or has already been accepted or published by Scopus index journals. One of them has been published in an SCI journal, and 3 more of my papers are in communication with 3 different SCI journals, and one of them is actually in a very good condition right now. I mean, it just got accepted after the first screening, and we are very much hopeful that it will make through, but I wouldn't go into that, just not to jinx it. Apart from papers, I also came to know about the importance of internships, and that was also through my college. I mean, I came to know of places that I, as an electrical student, could do my internships from that I wouldn't have known otherwise. At the end of third year, when the curriculum of AICTE asks us to do an internship, I, along with my friends, during one of our classes of power systems, we heard a professor talking of the regional load distribution centers in India. We never knew something of that sort existed before that. So, and after third year, like when we were actually searching for an internship, we actually got into the Northeastern Regional Load Distribution Center in Shillong. We did our internship of 1 month from Shillong, and it was so great. Like, we were going into a building which had Ministry of Power written on it in its headlines, and we were walking in like bosses of the area wearing our ID cards as students, and we did our internship. We stayed there for 1 month, and that is the first time in my life that I had stayed away in a different city, which was not in a hostel or in an accommodation which was predefined for students. Apart from that, I also did many more internships. I got an internship done from the Indian Railways. I got one done from NHPC in Sikkim itself, again through my college. I got another internship done from Calcutta Metros. I did a course on PLC and SCADA in the end of second year. Now that I think of it, now that I sit back and think of it, I can't imagine I have done so many things in the last 4 years. When I talk to my other peers who are also in private institutions like me, and they get surprised at how can any BTech student have 19 research papers? How can any BTech student have so many internships? How did you manage that time? And I feel so happy and so privileged to share with them that, yeah, I have done it. And not only me, my friends along with me who have co-authored with me or who have went to those internships with me, they have done it as well. Like, it's not a big deal in electrical department of SMIT to have research papers, which is in fact a very big deal in other colleges. Like, then I missed out on a number of things in between. We went to Chennai after Shillong. We went to Chennai in IIIT Chennai for another IEEE conference. I presented my paper there, and then we had 3 very lovely Springer conferences in college last December 2019. In each of the conference I had a separate paper, and so on and so forth. And right now I'm during my internship. Of course, in the 7th semester, even with a very strong CV, it is a big deal to get a good job. We were all very scared about what's going on throughout that semester. The placement tenure, companies coming, companies going. But I was lucky in that regard. On the very first month in August, I was, as a member of electrical department, I was the very first student who got placed in a company from our college. I got placed in LT Elevators for the job of a sales engineer in the beginning. And like, that took a huge load of thoughts away from my mind, and that was lovely. But later on, Ericsson came on, if I'm not mistaken, on the 21st of September the same year. And I passed through that interview, and I got my job on the following few days, 25th or 26th of September. They released their lists, and I was selected there. And in December, they informed me that I would be doing my internship from Bangalore. I, of course, chose Ericsson Global as my internship destination. It's a very good company, and I love my designation over there. I'm working there as an automation engineer in the tools and automation department of MITO, Managed IT Operations, Management of IT Operations Department under BMAS, which stands for Business of Managed Area Services under Ericsson Global in Bangalore. And it is a lovely designation, and I love my job. And through the course of my job, I learned many new things. I learned Python completely. Like, I had never imagined I would be working with Python, but I learned that. I learned Python, I learned JavaScript, I learned all the coding languages which I had missed out during my tenure as a student, because electrical is a core branch, and taking into consideration a core branch and its subjects, and along with that doing another course on a different coding language is a big deal. So I couldn't get that time in college, I will be honest, but I learned that during my internships. And so here I am almost at the termination of my college. Of course, things are stagnant right now. COVID-19 is at its peak, and like every college in the country, so is my university closed. But we are looking forward to get our major project presentation done very soon online, I think in the coming month. And hopefully, by God's grace, I will be done with my bachelor's degree by then. But my journey with SMIT, with the Department of EEE, has been lovely so far. It has given me so many memories and so many things to look forward to, so many expectations that I have with my life, so many new dreams which I have started dreaming after being a student there, that I really cannot believe that my college had turned out to be so good. Like, after 12th, I was in this complete phase of dilemma. on the brink of leaving home for the first time, going outside, a new world, new people, new friends, and everything fits so perfectly well into its places, thanks to my college and my department, that I am really, really grateful for it. Thank you so much. I hope that all those who are watching this video has an equally wonderful and lovely college life as I did. Thank you so much.